Chapter 1. I hung up the phone and shook my head. It was always like this. As the CEO of a Fortune 500 family company, Su Liyue's life was actually very simple. It consisted of business dinners, fashion parties, beauty treatments, spontaneous trips around the world, and most of all, getting together with her best friends for drinks. Basically, she was drunk 7 nights a week. She didn't lift a finger for company business, while I, as her boyfriend, had to be her driver, bodyguard, chef, housekeeper, and personal secretary. Tonight, like always, I drove her to her friend's private club and waited in the lobby. This was their regular nightly hangout, just 5 or 6 of them, all children of wealthy families. Upstairs, the place was a mess. 5 fashionably dressed girls lay sprawled across the sofas and carpet in various awkward positions. I peered through the dim light to identify my girlfriend. This time, at least, she hadn't thrown up on herself. I scooped her up in a Princess Carrie. Her exquisite face nestled against my chest. Her warm breath tickled me, and the touch of her long, silk-stockinged legs, though familiar, was still thrilling. Getting her home was when the real work began. I went to the kitchen and made her hangover soup, feeding it to her spoonful by spoonful. Then I ran her a bath, washed her, dried her hair and body, and finally dressed her in pajamas before carefully tucking her into bed. Every night I took care of her like she was an invalid. We'd fought countless times about her drinking, but she never listened, only getting more annoyed and drinking even more. The next morning, I had breakfast ready early and sat on the edge of the bed, waiting for her to wake up. Her outfit for the day was already laid out. She woke up, saw me, rubbed her eyes, and kissed me. She seemed to be feeling okay today, which I took as a reward. Yuza, it's Zining's birthday today. Take me to the club later, and then you can go to work. Don't come to pick me up too early tonight. We'll be out late. Drinking first thing in the morning? What about your stomach? I said, annoyed, handing her the clothes I'd picked out. Su Liyue frowned. Can you not nag like an old woman first thing in the morning? We're just meeting there. It's my best friend's birthday. Don't be such a killjoy. As she got ready, her toothpaste and water were already prepared. By the time she was finished, her stomach-soothing porridge was on the table, practically ready to be spoon-fed. After 7 years together, she was used to this. She only had to go through the motions, and everything was already prepared for her. Chapter 2. I'd just arrived at the company, chaired a meeting, laid out some recent strategic plans and decisions, and then faced a mountain of documents sent by my secretary waiting for approval. This kept me busy all morning. I grabbed a quick lunch, then met with several major clients. In the evening, I attended a charity banquet for student aid. At 12:30 a.m., I drove to the club lobby to wait for them to finish. Every day is like this, revolving around Su Liyue or the company. I don't even have a moment to myself. Su Liyue and I were high school classmates, but not in the same class. She was the universally acknowledged most beautiful girl in school, the dream goddess of every guy. I was the most handsome boy, tall and good-looking. Since I'd studied Sanda with my uncle in my spare time since childhood, my physique was also undeniably good. We didn't have any interaction until one day after school when she and her friends surrounded me on the playground and looked me up and down. Then, with a neutral expression, she said, "We've heard Class 3 has a handsome boy with a good figure. We came over to check you out, girls. What do you think?" "I think he's good. Tall and handsome. His figure is pretty great, too. Look, he even has abs. Liyue, you're the school beauty, and he's the school hunk. You two are a perfect match." I was a little dumbfounded by their sudden comments. Some of them even tried to lift my shirt to touch my abs. I pushed their hands away. "Hey, what are you doing?" Su Liyue smiled faintly. "Since you all think he's good, then I'll take him as my boyfriend." "Hey, from now on, you're my boyfriend. I don't care if you had a girlfriend before. If you did, dump her. If not, even better." She tossed me a phone and a meal card. "This phone is only for contacting me. I'll top up the meal card with 30,000 yuan every month. I'll take care of you from now on. 30,000 yuan a month, 1,000 a day. I wouldn't even need that much if I ate like an elephant." Wait, that wasn't the point. How did I just become her boyfriend? By the time I reacted, they were already gone. I looked at the phone and meal card in my hands, lost in thought. Oh well, whatever. I'll deal with it later. Even a ghost needs to eat first. So I called all my dorm buddies and we had a big feast. After that, Su Liyue was always the one to contact me. She bought me clothes, dressed me according to her preferences, and since I liked playing basketball, she bought me endless jerseys and shoes. To be honest, she was really good to me back then. I even felt she was the best woman to me besides my mother. After graduation, I joined her family's company. She took me home to meet her parents. Overall, apart from the slight disparity in our social status, her parents were quite satisfied with me. However, there was one condition. I had to marry into their family, become a live-in son-in-law. This was understandable. They had worked hard for generations, amassed a fortune of billions. So how could they just give it away? My parents didn't object much. After all, I had a younger brother. So I started from the bottom in the company. After 2 years of familiarizing myself with the business, Su Liyue took over one of her family's companies and became the CEO, and I was transferred to be her personal secretary. Chapter 3. They say I'm not good enough for her, that my background isn't suitable. They say I'm always busy with work and have no sense of romance. What's the use of being handsome? They say someone with my ordinary background marrying her is most likely after her money, that she should be careful and pay attention, or she'll end up losing both her money and the man. At first, Su Liyue didn't think much of it, but over time, I felt her taking her friend's words to heart. She started to become less enthusiastic towards me, and she rejected my proposal, saying she wanted to focus on her career. But when has she ever been busy with her career? Isn't it me who's been managing the company? But her friends can say whatever they want. What can I do? I tried to explain a few times, but she just looked at me suspiciously and said, as the saying goes, an explanation is a cover-up. What kind of saying is that? That's clearly something her friend said. So I could only be better and better to her, taking care of her every day like she was in a vegetative state, but she became colder and colder towards me. Today, like usual, I brought her home unconscious, laid her on the bed, and looking at her beautiful face, a sense of exhaustion suddenly washed over me. I touched her face, then turned and went to the guest room to sleep for the night. Before dawn the next day, I was woken by Su Liyue's voice. I immediately sensed something was wrong and ran into the bedroom without even putting on my clothes. What's wrong, baby? Did you have another nightmare? Xiao Yuza, where the hell were you? I threw up all over the bed, and no one even cared. Su Liyue looked at the vomit on the bed with disgust and yelled at me. Since we started living together, I'd never let her suffer such an indignity. While quickly cleaning up, I explained, I was too tired yesterday. I have a meeting tomorrow morning and can't be late. I also have to make you breakfast and take you to see your friends. I was afraid I wouldn't wake up, so I couldn't hold on any longer and went to sleep in the guest room. I thought she would understand, or even realize my devotion to her over the years and have a change of heart, comforting me. Unexpectedly, her face suddenly darkened, and her voice became low and hoarse. You're dropping the act? Finally tired of me, huh? It seems my friends were right. A gold digger like you is just taking advantage of me, unreliable. You haven't even married me yet, and your true colors are showing. Luckily, I didn't agree to your proposal. Hearing her say this, my hands stopped cleaning the sheets. I tried to suppress the worry chief in my heart and didn't dare to speak, afraid of saying something hurtful that would damage our relationship. What? Feeling ashamed and angry after being exposed? Let me tell you, Xiao Yuza, if I leave you, the people chasing me could line up from here to the beach. If you leave me, you're nothing. Su Liyue's words became increasingly harsh. Afraid of losing control, I quickly changed the dirty sheets and hurried out of the room. The sound of breaking glass came from behind me. Chapter 4. Arriving at the company, I felt completely drained of energy. The scheduled meeting didn't happen, and I couldn't bring myself to deal with the pile of documents on my desk. I felt utterly exhausted, so much so that sitting didn't offer any relief. I could only slump over my desk. Staring at the documents, only one thought crossed my mind. What am I doing all this for? Reflecting on everything I'd done these past few years, a growing sense of grievance welled up inside me. So I made a snap decision and gave myself the day off. I used to have plenty of hobbies and a good group of friends. But over the past few years, I'd given it all up for Su Liyue. So I pulled out my phone and called two of my closest buddies, inviting them out to play basketball. Sun Haoran and Zhao Yu were my roommates back in school and my best mates. They were both surprised to hear from me, but agreed to meet me at the court. Why have you been so busy these past few years? His wife has him on a tight leash. Wherever she goes, he goes. I honestly thought something was wrong between you two when you called me today. Don't jinx it. If you could find a girlfriend like that, you'd be even more clingy. Yeah, you're right. My bad. Come on, Choji's looking for a game. Let's play. We played basketball for over 3 hours. I hadn't had that much fun in years. It was like being back in middle school, back in those carefree days. Later that evening, I invited them to a fancy restaurant, but they dragged me to a street food stall instead. We ordered a few dishes and some barbecue, reminisced about the old days, and talked about our current lives until we lost track of time and drank ourselves silly. I woke up the next day and instinctively reached for my phone to check the time. I was shocked to find dozens of missed calls and hundreds of messages. I frantically opened them to discover they were all from Su Liyue and her friends. What was I going to do? This had never happened before. I scrambled out of bed, throwing on my clothes while calling her back, but she didn't answer. Without even bothering to wash my face or brush my teeth, I drove home. I opened the door to find Su Liyue sitting on the sofa, still wearing yesterday's clothes. Her eyes were red and swollen from crying, and a pungent smell of alcohol hung in the air. I went over and hugged her, but she didn't react. My heart sank. If she had pushed me away, it would have meant there was still hope. But this motionless silence meant she wouldn't be appeased for days, and I would have to spend every waking moment trying to win her back. You didn't sleep all night? Where were you all day yesterday? Her voice was eerily calm, but it sounded more terrifying than any shout. My friends asked me to hang out. I figured I hadn't seen them in years, so I agreed. If I didn't see them now, I might never see them again. I couldn't bring myself to tell the truth. If she knew I had initiated the outing, all hell would break loose. Chapter 5. Going to the street stalls for barbecue again? Chiao Yuza, when will you raise your standards? Eating that junk food in such a filthy place is disgusting. You and your friends are all the same, always. Enough! I interrupted her before she could finish. Su Liyue, have I had a single day of rest these past few years? Even during the few days off for the New Year holiday, I have to wait on your entire family at your house. Out of all the company employees, including you, who works like me, and I ask you to respect my friends, respect me. Can you? Hearing her insult my friends, I couldn't help but retort. Although I didn't say much, these were the harshest words I'd spoken to her since we met. Su Liyue was stunned by my reaction. She looked at me like I was a stranger. You're yelling at me for them? You're my man, Su Liyue's man. What will people think of me if they see you eating barbecue and drinking beer at a street stall with them? If you feel wronged about working for your family's company, there are plenty of people who can replace you. If you don't want to take care of me and my family, I don't necessarily need you either. Su Liyue looked at me calmly, not sounding like she was speaking out of anger at all. Encouraged by her best friends, she now looked down on me from the bottom of her heart, believing I wasn't worthy of her. I also looked at her in astonishment, surprised she could say such heartless words so calmly. Years of grievances welled up in my heart. I could no longer suppress my inner virtue. Su Liyue, I'm tired. I know you've always felt I'm not good enough for you, but you were the one who confessed to me. Now that you find me tiresome, I won't cling to you. Let's break up. After saying that, I turned and walked out. Chiao Yuza, if you leave, don't ever come back. Then there was the sound of shattering glass. After leaving, I didn't pack anything. I went to a hotel, booked a room, and planned to rest for a few days before deciding what to do next. I have to say, during the years I was with Su Liyue, she was very generous to me. She always bought me the most expensive clothes and gifts, and gave me a lot of spending money on top of my salary. So even if I didn't take anything with me, I wouldn't have to worry about the rest of my life. I thought I could have a few days of peace, but on the third day, I received a call from Su Liyue's best friend, Lin Ruoxue. Chiao Yuza, I heard you and Liyue broke up. Is it true? What's it to you? But Liyue has been very unhappy these past 2 days. She won't even come out to hang out. What's it to me? Shouldn't you go back and coax her? Everyone knows you're her lapdog. Don't play these hard-to-get games. If Liyue really doesn't want you, you'll be crying your eyes out. You're King crazy, I said and hung up the phone. Lin Ruoxue looked at the disconnected phone with an intriguing smile on her face. Half an hour later, my phone rang again. It was another of her best friends, Su Zining. Qiuyuza, I heard you and Liyue broke up. Is it true? What's it to you? But Liyue has been very unhappy these past 2 days. She won't even come out to hang out. What's it to me? Shouldn't you go back and coax her? Everyone knows you're her lapdog. Don't play these hard-to-get games. If Liyue really doesn't want you, you'll be crying your eyes out. Do you best friends all copy and paste your conversations? Get lost. Don't disturb my rest, I said and hung up again. Su Zining was stunned. Was this still the gentle, considerate, and patient Qiuyuza? After that, her other 3 best friends also called, saying basically the same thing. I cursed them all out and hung up. Then I turned off my phone and removed the SIM card. The whole world became quiet. Chapter 6. Enough. I arrived at the basketball court, ready to play a game with some strangers. I can't always ask my friends to come out. After all, they have their own work and lives. Just as we were having fun, a Rolls-Royce parked by the roadside. This car looked familiar. The door opened, and a pair of flawless, long legs first appeared in everyone's view, followed by a breathtakingly beautiful woman. This was Su Zining, one of Su Liyue's best friends. She slowly walked to the side of the court and quietly watched us play. Everyone on the court lost interest in the game, their eyes glued to this great beauty. Someone even got hit in the face by a pass basketball because they weren't paying attention. Su Zining giggled at this. The guy who got hit in the face looked happier than if he'd won the game. She smiled at me. That beautiful woman smiled at me. Ha ha ha. Seeing as the basketball game was over, I walked to the side to grab my things and leave. But Su Zining stopped me. I already told you. I won't go back and persuade Su Liyue. She has nothing to do with me now, I said while wiping my sweat with a towel. I'm not here to talk about her. I have something to discuss with you, Su Zining said, looking at me with a smile. Go ahead. Let's talk in the car. She walked towards the car. I wanted to see what she wanted to say, so I followed her into the car. Su Zining. What are your plans now? Me? I just finished a break and haven't had enough fun yet. I'll play for a few more days before deciding. Su Zining. It seems what they said about you being busy from morning till night is true. You must be exhausted after these past few years, right? I rubbed my eyes. I must have been seeing things. I just saw concern in her eyes. Me? Just get to the point. I don't have much patience for your nonsense. Why are you talking to me like this? What have I done to offend you? Su Zining pouted, looking wronged. Stop. Don't give me that. You know why Su Liyue treats me this way. It's all because of the gossip you and your friends spread. If you have nothing else, I'm leaving. Just as I was about to open the car door, she called out to me. Su Zining, I need a driver. If you're free, I'll pay you 100,000 a month. I sneered and gave her a disdainful look, opening the car door a crack. Su Zining, 1 million a month. I quickly opened the car door and sat in the driver's seat. Don't misunderstand, Miss Su. I simply enjoy driving a Rolls-Royce. Where do you want to go now? Su Zining, home. She looked very pleased. Me, then, about the salary. Can we start counting from today? Chapter 7. That price won't do. Su Zining said. What are you thinking? My offered salary includes 3 meals a day, a driver, a bodyguard, and a housekeeper. I agreed without a second thought. This was several positions fewer than what I had at Su Liyue's. I went home and made her lunch. She was very satisfied, saying it was even better than her own chef's cooking. Su Liyue was a picky eater, and I had practiced my cooking skills for a long time. The inevitable still happened. The next day, Su Zining had me drive her to a club to meet with her friends. As I got out of the car to open the door for her, I saw Su Liyue. She saw me too and quickly walked over. Su Zining, seeing this, raised her arms to greet her. But Su Liyue bypassed her and came straight to me. Looking into my eyes, she said angrily, "Why are you here? It's been so many days, and you still haven't come home? Do you know how I've been these past few days?" Her voice was slightly unsteady, showing she was trying hard to suppress her emotions. I gave her a polite smile. "What can I do? She offered me too much, and the workload is small, so you're just doing it for the money?" Her voice was agitated. "What else? Does your family run a company to lose money?" I continued to smile at her. She swallowed. I knew she was struggling to control herself. "Chiyo Yuza, my patience has its limits. Come home with me now, and I'll let bygones be bygones. Otherwise." Her expression remained haughty and indifferent. "Then go ahead and pursue it." As we spoke, Su Zining came over and pulled Su Liyue aside. "Liyue, I've tried to persuade him, but he's still angry, stubborn as a mule. So I came up with this idea to let him be my driver for now. When his anger subsides, I'll persuade him again." Su Liyue didn't suspect a thing. After all, among her friends who had badmouthed Chiyo Yuza, Su Zining had been the most vocal. She should really dislike Chiyo Yuza, so for her to go this far, she truly was a good friend. Touched, Su Liyue allowed Su Zining to lead her into the club, looking back at me repeatedly. Later, her other friends arrived one after another, and they all saw Chiyo Yuza. They all came up to chat for a bit, and when they heard he was now Su Zining's driver, their faces all wore unreadable expressions. Chapter 8. During this time, her friends, for some reason, kept coming down to bring me delicate pastries and drinks. They'd chat with me in the car until someone called and urged them back upstairs. It felt like they were never this nice, this enthusiastic, even when I was dating one of their friends. That evening, after they finished, I went up to pick someone up as usual, but this time it was a different person. In the dim light of the room, I found Su Zining, picked her up, and was about to turn and leave. Suddenly, I noticed someone else sitting on the sofa, staring intently at me. It was Su Liyue. She was never awake before. This time she didn't seem to have drunk as much. After I saw who it was, I turned to leave. "Stop. Put her down. Just help her walk," Su Liyue said coldly. "Seriously? She's completely out of it. How can she walk?" I thought she was being unreasonable. She seemed to realize I had a point, and hurriedly grabbed a large towel and wrapped Su Zining's exposed arms and legs. "After you get back, don't bathe her. Just wipe her down. Make sure their housekeeper helps her with this," Su Liyue said, looking at me worriedly. "Of course. That kind of thing costs extra," I said indifferently and continued walking out. "Forget it. I'll go back with you tonight." Su Liyue trotted after me. When we got home, she called the housekeeper directly. I was off the hook, so I went to my room to sleep. The next day, I got up early and made breakfast. I saw Su Liyue still asleep on the sofa, wearing a slip dress. Her long, white legs, delicate feet, smooth, white shoulders, and perfect face left me dazed for a while. I made an extra portion of breakfast. Su Liyue had a particularly good appetite today. Usually, I ate after they finished, but today there wasn't anything left. "You've become so stingy lately, making only enough food for who knows who. Serves you right for not having any left." Su Liyue's mouth was as sharp as ever. Su Zining, on the other hand, seemed very concerned about me. She took out her favorite expensive snacks and fed them to me while I was cleaning up the dishes. "Sorry, your cooking was so good. I couldn't help myself and didn't leave any for you. Try the snack. Is it good?" Delicious. Eat more if you like it," she said, putting the box of snacks in my hand and looking at me with a bright smile. Su Liyue stood beside us, looked at her, then at me, pursed her lips, and said nothing. They had planned to go shopping today. I drove them to the biggest mall in the city, which was filled with luxury stores. As the only man, I naturally carried their shopping bags. Su Zining pulled me aside into a store and picked out several outfits and shoes for me, saying that my clothes were too ordinary. I refused, but she insisted that as her driver, there was a dress code. With her insistence, I finally gave in. Actually, Su Liyue had often bought me these kind of things before. Her favorite pastime was dressing me up according to her taste. Several wardrobes in her villa were full of them. When we broke up, I only took the comfortable clothes I had bought myself. Chapter 9. Su Liyue frowned. You have so many clothes at home that you don't wear, yet you have the nerve to let others buy you more. She emphasized the words home and others. Su Zining quickly tried to smooth things over. He only brought a few casual outfits this time. I just happened to buy him a few pieces. Don't overthink it, my beautiful Su. Su Liyue didn't say anything, just gave me a side eye and continued walking. We browsed around for a while longer, and her other girlfriends each gave me several gifts, very enthusiastically. They wouldn't take no for an answer. Could it be they felt guilty about causing my breakup? Is that why they're being so nice to me now? Before, they would barely even look at me when we met. Tonight, surprisingly, they didn't go out drinking but came to Su Zining's place for dinner. And needless to say, I was cooking again. I took their menu requests, drove to the high-end supermarket, prepared the ingredients, then returned. The housekeeper helped me, and soon I had prepared a large table of dishes. After tasting the food, they all exclaimed how delicious it was, even better than their personal chef's cooking. I believe their praise was genuine. To keep Su Liyue from eating unhealthy food outside, I, already a decent cook, had specially created a menu tailored to her taste. Having spent so much time together, they all had similar tastes. They didn't like heavy oil, salt, or spice, and preferred light seasoning. Yet I could still make the food delicious. Such a large spread, and these few girls ate it all clean. While I was helping the housekeeper clean up in the kitchen, I heard them saying they would all stay here tonight. After finishing the cleanup, with nothing else to do, I returned to my room to check my phone and play some games. Some of them were showering, others chatting. Just as I was about to get a pinnacle, suddenly the door opened and someone came in. I looked up and my pinnacle slipped away. I was a bit frustrated. It was Su Liyue, wearing the same style of nightgown as yesterday, holding a hairdryer. I had to admit her taste was quite good. The nightgown showed off her perfect figure beautifully. Fresh from the shower, her long wet hair and flushed cheeks made my body heat up, and I changed my sitting position to avoid awkwardness. Although I had possessed this body countless times, it was precisely because I knew how sweet it was. I tried hard to control my emotions, trying to keep my breathing inconspicuous, but she saw through everything. She knew me so well. How could she not know what I was thinking? She curved her lips into a beautiful smile and handed me the hairdryer. Help me dry my hair. I pretended not to hear, both hands continuously tapping the phone screen, even though it showed 35 seconds until respawn. I'm busy, no time. Ask your girlfriends to help you. I didn't look at her. She sat on the bed, placing her legs next to mine, facing me, and kept swinging her legs to touch mine. The game became impossible to play. I stood up. Miss Su, we've broken up. Don't be like this. It wouldn't look good if someone came in and we're at someone else's house. Could you please be mindful? Then come back home with me. She looked at me with deep eyes, her voice very gentle. I'm staying here just fine. Why should I go to your place? Chapter 10. Just get a good cook and a good nanny. It won't even cost $100,000 a month. I'm expensive now, $1 million a month. Su Liyue was shocked when she heard my monthly salary. I'll give you $5 million. I wouldn't go for $10 million. I want to live with dignity. Look how good Zining is to me. Unlike you, always cold as ice. If I don't meet your expectations, I get scolded. I've had enough of those days. I became more and more agitated as I spoke. Su Liyue also became agitated. She's faking it. She used to scold you the most, calling you a loser, a freeloader, a pretty boy, ugly, not good enough for me. Stop. Are you performing a rapid-fire comedy routine in the middle of the night? Annoyed by her words, I pushed her out. The next day, after they finished eating, Lin Ruoshu told Su Zining that her driver had something to do and wanted to borrow me for the day. A flicker of reluctance flashed across Su Zining's eyes, but since her childhood friend had asked, she couldn't refuse, so she agreed. The other two friends were stunned. You can do that? Then I'll borrow him the day after tomorrow. I'll borrow him the day after that. We're all best friends. You can't play favorites. Fine. Borrow him. Borrow him all you want, Su Zining said with a pained expression. 3 days. almost 100,000 yuan in wages. But for their 100 billion yuan families, it's a drop in the bucket. Su Liyue looked at Su Zining somewhat shyly and said, Zining, look, can I borrow him for a month first? Enough. After saying goodbye to them, I drove Lin Ruoxue to a high-end beauty salon. I got a treatment too. After leaving the beauty salon, she took me shopping. She chattered nonstop along the way, and I enjoyed talking with her. I'd make her laugh from time to time. At noon, she had me drive her to the Cloud Top restaurant. It was the tallest building in the city, with a restaurant at the very top. If you were lucky, you could even see a sea of clouds from up there. The view was great, and of course the prices were too. Call me after you finish eating. I'll wait for you here, I said to Lin Ruoxue, who was about to get out of the car. Lin Ruoxue was clearly taken aback. What are you talking about? Of course, we're going in together. Just the two of us. You helped me out so much today. I have to treat you. Helped you out so much? How much? Shopping and beauty treatments count as help? Are all rich people this polite? I was about to decline, but she pulled me out of the car. Then she took my arm and walked inside. As soon as we entered, the staff greeted us warmly. Hello, are you two a couple? Before I could speak, Lin Ruoxue nodded, so I didn't say anything. If the boss is treating, I'll play along. We're currently running a promotion called Cutest Couple. If you two would like to participate, please come with me to take a photo. All the guests today will vote for the cutest couple, and the winning couple will get to dine here for free for a month. However, the photo will be displayed here for a month, and after a month, it will be mailed to you. Would you two be willing? I'm willing. I'm willing. Wow. I blurted it out like it was a wedding ceremony. Then we were led to a beautiful backdrop for a photo, and then we went to our table to order. Chapter 11. I nodded. I often drove them to eat here and knew she was familiar with the place. Actually, Liyue can be really excessive sometimes. Every time she brings us here, she makes you wait downstairs. Sometimes it really feels like you're just her driver. Then she added with a conciliatory smile, Actually, I don't really think that. It's just that I feel a little... I interrupted her. It's all in the past. And isn't that what I am now, a driver? I've never thought of you as just a driver. If you were my boyfriend, I wouldn't treat you like she does. Do you remember the first time we went to see you at school? Seeing my lack of interest in the topic, she changed the subject. Of course I remember. I was reading on the playground, looked up, and saw myself surrounded by 5 beautiful girls. Later I found out you were the famous 5 school beauties, known as the 5 golden flowers. Ha! You still remember? I remember hearing there was the most handsome boy in the whole school in class 3, so we decided to go see you. We surrounded you on the playground, but you just kept reading data. When you finally reacted, you had this shocked and helpless expression. I still remember it. Hi. Lin Ruoxue was very happy talking about the past. That's because you scared me. How did I scare you? So many people, and you reached out and tugged on my shirt, saying you wanted to touch my abs. I'd never seen anything like it. I rolled my eyes at her. Yes, yes, yes. That was me. Ha! Seems like I made quite the impression on you. Lin Ruoxue was that kind of carefree person, always laughing happily, so we chatted about a lot of old times and had a great time. In the evening, we went for a stroll by the sea. She walked barefoot on the beach, the sea breeze blowing through her long hair, looking so enchanting. When I drove her home, it was already past 11 p.m. Cloud Top Restaurant sent her a message. Our photo had won first place. When she showed me the message on her phone, her smile was so bright. I said goodbye to her and drove back to Su Zining's house. They were already back and asleep, so I just washed up and went to bed. It turned out they were telling the truth. Over the next 2 days, I was lent to her other 2 best friends. Spending my days eating and drinking with beautiful women, it felt like dating, and I was quite happy. Today was the day I was lent to Su Liyue. Before 5 a.m., she called me. After getting up and making breakfast for Su Zining, I drove out. When I arrived at Su Liyue's house, she was still asleep. Seeing me, she rubbed her eyes and came downstairs in a seductive nightgown, her hair a mess. Make me breakfast first, I'm hungry. I really owed her. Sighing, I made her breakfast. She ate breakfast at the table while I sat across from her, looking at my phone. You went to Cloud Top Restaurant with Lin Ruoxue the day before yesterday? You took a couple's photo and won first place? Mm. Lin Ruoxue treated us to dinner yesterday, and we saw it. Handsome man, beautiful woman, quite a match. Why are you doing this to me? I looked up at her with an innocent expression. What am I doing to you? It was just a free meal at a fancy restaurant, a chance to see the world. The old driver me wouldn't have been allowed upstairs, just dropping people off and waiting below. The new boss is nicer, letting me join in. Why wouldn't I go? As soon as I finished speaking, Su Liyue's tears started flowing. She cried heartbrokenly. Yuza, you're still angry with me, aren't you? I never thought of you as just a driver. You've always been my beloved boyfriend in my heart, the man I'm going to marry. It was them, they kept telling me not to bring my boyfriend when we hang out, that bringing you to dinner was embarrassing. It hurt me when they said those things, but I really do love you. Chapter 12. How many times have I proposed to you, my supposed fiancé? And how did you respond each time? You told me your friends always said I wasn't good enough for you, that they badmouthed me constantly. I actually believed you. But after spending these past few days with them, every single one of them has treated me better than you. I can go to places with them that I can only wait outside of when I'm with you. Hand on your heart, did you ever really treat me like your boyfriend? Did you ever truly respect me? I took care of you like a child. If anything was slightly not to your liking, you'd scold me like I was your son, no matter how many people were around. You always thought I was taking advantage of you, that I was after your money. I know you're worth nearly $1 billion, and I agreed to marry into your family. I even agreed to have your assets go directly to our children, without me taking a cent. For so many years, I've juggled so many roles for you, helped manage your company, eaten nothing but bread and boxed lunches for midday meals, and still worked until midnight every day. How much money have I actually made from you? I've practically given you my life. After 5 years of this, without a single day to myself, I finally went out for skewers with a couple of friends because I was exhausted. But in your mouth, it sounds like I committed some heinous crime. Not only did you scold me, you called my friends trash. We haven't seen each other in 5 years. I turned down so many of their calls during that time, but when I finally called them, they came out without hesitation. How do you think it makes me feel when you insult friends like that? Finally, after pouring out all the grievances I'd suffered over the years, I, a 6'2" muscular guy who trains regularly in martial arts, burst into tears like a dam breaking. Su Liyu knelt in front of me, wiping my tears with her hands, crying even harder than I was, and kept saying she was sorry. Yuza, it's my fault. I hurt you. But I really do love you, Yuza. Do you remember when we were in school? How good I was to you for those 2 years. My friends' boyfriends changed one after another. But I only had you. I gave you my first time. So many people pursued me, but I didn't even glance at them. I have good qualities too. What's the point of bringing that up? It was my first time too, and I only had you. Plenty of people pursued me as well. I know you've been holding back for years, and you won't forgive me just like that. Yuza, wait for me. I'll make it up to you for all the disrespect you've endured. From now on, I'll take care of you. If you agree, we'll get our marriage license right away, without a prenuptial agreement. I looked at her indifferently, not wanting to say another word. After Su Liyu freshened up and got dressed, she had me drive her to the club, where her friends were already waiting. Su Liyu got out of the car, walked around the front, and said to me through the window, Yuza, this is the last time I'll make you wait downstairs. I'll go up and take care of some things, and then we'll start over. Before I could refuse, she turned and left. Su Liyu opened the door to the room. Her friends were already well into their gathering. Seeing her upset expression, they rushed over to ask what was wrong. Su Liyu poured herself a drink. After this drink, our friendship is over. We won't see each other again. Her friends were stunned. They had grown up together, inseparable since elementary school. They didn't know what had gotten into Su Liyu today, but her expression told them she wasn't joking. What's wrong, Yaya? It's not April Fool's Day, is it? This isn't a funny joke. We're best friends. How can you say something so hurtful? Yes, you're my best friends. Su Liyu was now in tears. I can't believe my best friends could be so scheming. You told me to my face how terrible Yuza was, that he wasn't good enough for me, and you made me treat him coldly. Now that we've broken up, every single one of you has been trying to seduce him. Is this how you treat me?" Her friends lowered their heads in silence. No one picked up their glass to drink the farewell toast. Su Liyue glanced at them coldly. "What? Won't even drink a last glass with me, my good friends? It doesn't change the fact that we're done." With that, Su Liyue turned to leave. "Wait! Yeah, do you really love Yuza? If you truly loved him, would you treat him like that just because of what other people said?" At first, we did think Yuza came from an ordinary background, that he and we were from different worlds. He's handsome and has a good physique. But we're rich. We can have as many boys like that as we want. But you were so infatuated with him. It felt like our little princess was being scammed by a pretty boy. Su Zining was also in tears as she spoke. Chapter 13. Another friend came over and said, "You really don't know how good you have it. Do you know why all of our boyfriends broke up with us? It's because compared to Yuza, the difference is just too big. When you're thirsty, he takes out carefully prepared stomach-soothing flower tea for you. My boyfriend would just casually toss me a beer to quench my thirst. When you're hungry, Yuza takes out several insulated food containers so you can eat the healthy and delicious meals he personally made. My boyfriend would just pull out his phone and order takeout for me." Su Zining added, "We're genuinely happy for you when good things happen in other areas of your life. But looking at Yuza and then looking at our boyfriends, we really can't stand the difference. His goodness towards you might be something you've grown accustomed to, but we can see it. I can give in to you on anything else, but this concerns lifelong happiness. I'm sorry, I can't give in on this." The others echoed her sentiments. Hearing her friends say these things, Su Liyue cried even harder. She couldn't even hear anything anymore, and just dragged her feet as she walked away. Over the next few days, I continued to drive Su Zining and her friends to their gatherings, but Su Liyue never joined them again. They invited me to join their fun and were even nicer to me. About 10 days later, all the billboards and outdoor screens in the city changed to a video of Su Liyue kneeling and crying, begging her ex-boyfriend for forgiveness. Su Zining asked me what I thought. I concentrated on driving and didn't answer her. The next day, my phone rang at the clubhouse. It was Su Liyue. "Yuza, come downstairs. I have something to tell you." She hung up before I could refuse. I saw her as soon as I got downstairs. She was dressed very beautifully today, but looked extremely chaotic. Seeing her like this made my heart ache. After all, she was the woman I had deeply loved for 7 years. When she saw me, her eyes suddenly lit up, and she ran towards me. "Yuza, this is the fatty intestines you like, which I personally made for you. And these are the skewers I personally grilled." These were things she wouldn't let me eat before, and she found them so disgusting that she wouldn't even touch them. I washed the intestines many times, and I skewered and grilled the meat myself. I've been practicing at home for so many days, and only today did I manage to make them somewhat presentable, so I immediately brought them for you to try. Looking at her hands covered in cuts and blisters, I used all my strength to control myself from crying. She was someone who cared so much about her appearance. Before going out, she would practically groom every strand of hair. Now, her hands were injured like this just to cook for me. I held her hand, my heart aching. "Does it hurt?" She shook her head. "Yuza, don't forgive me yet. I hurt you too deeply. If you forgive me so easily, I'm afraid I won't cherish you in the future. I need a profound lesson." I looked at her with bloodshot eyes, my voice choked with emotion. "Then, wasn't that billboard advertisement a bit too much?" "No, it wasn't. I said I would restore all the face you lost. Go upstairs and enjoy your meal. I'm leaving." I watched her drive away until she disappeared before opening the insulated food container. Chapter 14. 4 or 5 days straight, she brought me meals 3 times a day, without fail, always managing to find me. "Liyue, you're the campus beauty, and he's the heartthrob. You two are truly a perfect match." It wasn't until the 10th day that I received her call. She hesitated before asking if I could help her with something. Without a second thought, I agreed. She asked me to meet her at her company. After dropping Su Zining off, I excused myself and drove to her company as fast as I could. I arrived at her presidential office, my former workplace. Without knocking, I opened the door and saw her diligently organizing documents. When she saw me, her icy demeanor crumbled and she burst into tears, throwing herself into my arms. I stroked her hair and asked what was wrong. It turned out that after our breakup, her father returned to help manage the company. A few days ago, he found out about her using the city's big screen to apologize to me and demanded she take down the advertisement immediately. Su Liyue, usually obedient, refused. Her father, a man who valued his reputation, was so angry that he was hospitalized. She had taken over the company these past few days, but knew nothing about running it, so she had to ask me for help. I skillfully helped her handle everything. As evening approached, Su Liyue insisted on treating me to dinner. I couldn't refuse and went with her to the Cloud Top restaurant. "Why did you choose to eat here?" I asked, surprised. "We haven't been here together before," Su Liyue said, a little uncomfortably. After we were seated and Su Liyue ordered, her gaze fell on a photo of Lin Ruoxue and me displayed in the center of the restaurant. That's just from an event. I'll go ask them to take it down." I started to get up, but Su Liyue stopped me. "No need, it's just a photo, Yuza. I'm so happy to see you still care about me." We talked about many things from our past, all those beautiful memories from our school days. It turned out she remembered them all. After dinner, I offered to drive her home. She smiled at me and snapped her fingers. Suddenly, the restaurant lights dimmed and a spotlight focused on us. Seeing my bewildered expression, she walked up to me, holding a ring she had carefully prepared, and knelt before me. "Yuza, I love you. Will you marry me?" I finally came to my senses, extended my hand for her to put the ring on, and then helped her up. I kissed her deeply, and the surrounding people applauded enthusiastically. The manager loudly congratulated us and announced that Su Liyue was covering the entire restaurant's bill. Afterward, I resigned from my job with Su Zining. Since I hadn't worked a full month, I didn't ask for a salary. She looked at me with some disappointment, but ultimately wished us well. Su Liyue and I held an engagement party soon after, followed by a wedding 6 months later. Her friends were her bridesmaids, apologized to her, and she forgave them. A year later, Su Liyue gave birth to a pair of twins, a boy and a girl. The little ones were adorable, and I took care of her and spoiled her just like before. The difference was that she was also very good to me, and her favorite thing to do was cuddle in my arms. She sometimes went out with her friends, but only once a month, and I always accompanied her, watching over her and not letting her drink too much. The company was also developing steadily under my management. Looking at my children running around and my beloved wife in my arms, I thought, "Su Liyue, I love you. I will always treat you this well." Author's note: if you like this, please like and subscribe. You can also leave a comment, and I will reply to everyone.